Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no! This YouTube channel is on its way to becoming the #1 Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel in the world and the most popular, with over 58,000 channel views this morning. Thank you guys so much for all the love and support you've shown this YouTube channel, because I honestly don't know where I'd be without each and every one of you. I do know this though. I do know that this YouTube channel is the greatest honor of my life, to be able to sit in your guys' presence and talk about Descendants of Zombies for you every day for the rest of my life. And I really do mean that I will talk about Descendants of Zombies for the rest of my life, because Descendants of Zombies deserve so much more respect than it's ever been given, and it's been showed, because the majority of people who are talking about Descendants of Zombies on YouTube are critics, and they love to criticize everything they can find to criticize about Descendants of Zombies. And it really breaks my heart that Descendants of Zombies have become victims of criticism, especially with how much Freya Sky loved the Worlds Collide tour and loved being in your guys' presence to entertain you and sing your favorite songs. It was amazing to me just how Freya Sky felt so connected and so honored to be in your guys' presence as part of the Worlds Collide tour. And now that the tour is reaching its finale, its grand finale, that I would love to be there in Fort Worth, Texas to see. I honestly just can't believe the success that the Worlds Collide tour has had, because of just how supportive you guys have been for the tour, how supportive you've been always and forever, your favorite Descendants of Zombie stars. It never fails to blow my mind. Every single time somebody subscribes to his YouTube channel, it never fails to blow my mind. So I guess that's why all the critics are just finding all the negative things they can, whatever possible, to criticize about the Worlds Collide tour. But I have this to say about everybody who was a part of it and collaborated on it, who was a part of the process, who was a part of the creative energy and all the dreams that everybody realized. Because being a part of the Worlds Collide tour, I know how you guys felt. You felt as if you were part of something that you couldn't believe. It was almost like, oh my God, is this really happening? And I think that's the greatest honor of your life, knowing that a dream of yours was always fulfilled. Just to be in the same place, in the presence of your favorite Descendants of Zombie stars. I, for one, would have loved to have been there to experience it, just like all of you were. Unfortunately, because of no Canadian dates on the tour, I would have loved to have been there. And I just want to say thank you guys so much for showing up in unison and supporting your favorite Descendants of Zombie stars, because these venues sold out by the thousands. Now, I know some tickets were still available for the Worlds Collide tour, but you know, every single time I would see a venue sold out for the Worlds Collide tour, that's what I wanted to see, and that was what I was hoping I was going to see heading into the tour, was that every venue was eventually going to sell out. You know, I was heartbroken over the announcement that Ruby Rose Turner was not going to be part of Descendants 5. I really was, because from the very first moment I uploaded a video about Descendants on my YouTube channel, I loved Ruby Rose Turner so much. I had the biggest crush in the world on her, and I wanted her to be a part of the Worlds Collide tour. I wanted her voice to be on the soundtrack of Descendants. So when I first heard the news of Ruby singing the song Life is Sweeter When You Are on the Rise of Red soundtrack in 2024, I thought this was going to be fantastic. I wanted to hear that song ever before I heard or saw anything done with Descendants, because I was always the biggest Ruby Rose Turner fan. I can remember watching Ruby ever since she was 12 years old on a show called Coop and Cammy Ask the World, which I thought was going to be Disney's answer to iCarly. And of course, iCarly celebrated its 18th anniversary this year, I think on September 8th. That series premiered back in 2007. I remember being a part of the first episode of iCarly and how popular it was, and I think Disney's been searching for an answer for iCarly for forever, and because I was a huge fan of iCarly, I tried to get into Coop and Cammy Ask the World. I thought it was a series that ended long before its time, and every opportunity Ruby has gotten, it's been far and in between since then. But I think that's because Ruby is somebody that just hasn't had her fullest potential realized yet by both herself and her management label. I think Ruby is incredibly talented. That's why I have the biggest crush in the world on Ruby Rose Turner. I can't put it any other way for you. I'm going to miss Ruby being a part of the Descendants franchise. I think Ruby had so much to offer to it, and every night of my life, ever since Ruby parted ways with the franchise, I've been wishing that Ruby was here to help me make sense of life. Because I say this because Ruby was just so genuinely kind, and I don't think there ever was a member of the Descendants cast that was ever so kind as what Ruby Rose Turner was. You can't honestly tell me that you weren't inspired to be a kinder person, a much kinder person, because of what Ruby Rose Turner offered to this franchise, along with how inspirational Kylie Cantrell was and how she brought the character Red to life. You know, it's beyond me why Kylie Cantrell wastes her tears on people's criticism, because I've seen so many videos of her on TikTok being reduced to tears because she can't make sense of why everybody is such a critic. I guess that's what presents diversity in the world. You know, not everybody is a fan of Descendants and Zombies, but for every single hater that these two franchises have had, regardless if you talk about Descendants or Zombies, you have 10 million people who love it so much. And I guess that's where the envy from the critics and all the criticism it's receiving is being derived from. But I guess that's what makes the world represent diversity, because if everybody, when you think about it, if everybody liked the same thing, the world would be a pretty boring place. So you have so many people who like Descendants, you have so many people who like Zombies, and you're kind of going back and forth talking about what franchise is better, Zombies or Descendants. I will say this. I do think the Zombies franchise is far more predictable and way more out there than Descendants ever was, because whoever thought we would get to a point where mermaids would see their introduction into the Zombies franchise. I've been the biggest fan of Descendants and Zombies all of my life. I was there for the premiere of Descendants on July 31st, 2015, the same night that Bunk premiered, and both franchises went on to become some of the most successful in Disney Channel history. I think Descendants' first premiere had like 6.7 million people tune in. Now that's a far cry from 17.5 million that tuned into High School Musical's premiere back in 2007. I say this because I was a part of it, but that didn't mean that a future franchise such as Descendants or Zombies, a future installment, couldn't get to the point where 17 million people would tune in. Because you look at the numbers the entire franchise is put up on Disney Plus. I mean, the numbers are truly unbelievable. Over 100 million hours of stream time just for the original movie alone and the original franchise, and a total of over 781 million hours of stream time. That really blows my mind, but it makes it really worth spending the rest of your life talking about Descendants and Zombies. It really does. This is the greatest honor of my life. No matter if I'm talking about Dove Cameron, Sophia Carson, and my passion that will forever and always exist inside of my heart for Dove Cameron. While I may have never necessarily agreed with some of Dove Cameron's life choices, I really do support Dove Cameron. And I think Dove Cameron was given a voice and a personality to really exemplify her position in the world. And she was always and forever in a position to really take over. And a lot of her songs have gone to the top of the Billboard chart because she was always and forever in a position to take over. It's just I never agree with how people in Dove Cameron's life really put them before they put Dove Cameron before everything else. And I think that because Dove Cameron was given a voice, I think she should have been more outspoken around the time everything was happening with Ryan McCartan, the way it was transpiring, the way everything was happening with Thomas Doherty, the way it was happening. You know, Ryan McCartan always put himself over as the most important thing out of that relationship and how everything had to seemingly look perfect. We didn't get that with Meg Donnelly and Milo Manheim. Meg Donnelly and Milo Manheim were so appreciative to be in each other's presence, and they had fun with everything they did. Every time they were in front of the camera, they looked like the best of friends, and they looked like something actually really existed between them. It was one of the most beautiful friendships that I had ever seen created for a Disney franchise, and happened because of a Disney franchise. You know, you can talk about Ashley Tisdale, Vanessa Hudgens all the time, Miley Cyrus and Emily Osment, who were anything but the best of friends because of a lack of chemistry. But it was because of how they just entered the room, they auditioned for the roles of Zed and Addison, and the producers instantly knew that magic had the chance to be created. And I just love that. You know, being involved with the theater industry all of my life and being a part of major stage productions like High School Musical, Beauty and the Beast, Phantom of the Opera for so many years of my life, if there was one guy in the theater room that knew how to appreciate theater, it was this guy. If I was one of only two guys in the theater room, I was happy to be there because I had a certain appreciation for theater. And anytime I saw two people create chemistry and really present a chance for magic to be created, I jumped at the opportunity to cast them because it was just so unbelievable, the feeling you got from knowing you did something special and you created something that everybody was going to feel inspired by and run away with something special thinking about it because of it. It's truly unbelievable how far Meg Donnelly has come. She was a girl who had no acting background whatsoever. All she ever wanted was to be an actress, and herself and Milo Manheim really did create something special in a time where, you know, vampires and werewolves weren't really the thing anymore, because by 2013, after the Vampire Diaries, you know, finished up production by 2017, you could say, the vampire werewolf kind of saga thing wasn't really the trend anymore. We had moved into something different. I don't know what we moved into, but it was beyond anything like, vampires and werewolves. I think that Disney really took a chance on this because it was coming out in a generation that wasn't really represented by a vampire werewolf kind of saga. Because I remember how crazy Twilight was. I remember how popular the Vampire Diaries eventually became because everybody was coming out of the Twilight era and Twilight was finishing up production. by 2018. I remember how popular that was. November of 2008 was a time that I will never ever forget, and I was so honored to be a part of it. So I was kind of wondering if Zombies was going to be able to blow up the way that it did, and it really did. It really took off in so many unbelievable ways. And we're here now. We're so happy to be a part of something so special. I think that this is definitely two of the most revered franchises of all time, and you guys have never quit on it. That's the most unbelievable thing about you guys. You could have, took a look at Descendants and Zombies from the very first moment and said, this is really not appealing to me because I don't like more things about it than what I do like about it. But the first Descendants movie, I remember how many positive reviews it received, and I really don't know what happened to the critics. People just showed up from out of nowhere and just loved criticizing Descendants, because I remember the first Descendants movie and how many great reviews it received. Everybody was so excited to watch it. It had over 6.7 million viewers on its first night premiering on Disney Channel and Disney Plus. And that really said a lot, because we knew it had a chance to really last forever. While some seasons of shows never get past 4 seasons, or some movie trilogies never see past a trilogy, which I was really hoping we would see for High School Musical because of how popular it was. I'll be honest with you, when I saw High School Musical 3 senior year in October of 2008, I never wanted the franchise to end. There was just always something about me believing that franchises and TV shows with Disney should last forever, because I think there is never an opportunity where enough kindness can be spread, enough true love can be emphasized, that it really does exist out there in this lifetime. And I think that Hannah Montana and High School Musical could have gotten to a point where true love could have been represented more powerfully than it ever did before. It's just the writers and producers of Hannah Montana and High School Musical never wanted to see it get to that point. It's only now, with the premiere of Zombies 4: Dawn of the Vampires, we're hearing stars such as Mila Manheim and Meg Donnelly have I Love You find its way into the script. And I'm going to tell you guys something. I was really happy to hear the words I love you coming from the mouths of Addison and Zed, because of how far they had gotten the Zombies franchise to that point. I mean, because nobody ever thought Zombies would be as popular as what it was. I can remember when they had conventions and they would think that only about 50 people were going to show up, and there would be about 500 people to every convention for Descendants and Zombies. And that really showed them just how loyal fans were to a franchise. I never realized the numbers being so high for Zombies and Descendants until I researched it one night after girls were showing up at my door on Halloween dressed up as their favorite characters, telling me I had to watch Descendants, I should have checked it out. They would run off into the night and they would tell me, go watch Descendants and Zombies. And I took it under consideration until one night I looked up the numbers for Descendants and Zombies, and it blew my mind. And I never really understood the popularity of it until I uploaded one Descendants video 10 years after the premiere, and it blew up overnight with 1,000 views. And I said to myself, you've got to be freaking kidding me, over 1,000 views. So I thought it was just something that may have happened, strange coincidence. So I took a chance on another Descendants and Zombies video, and then I got another 1,000 views in less than 24 hours, and I was like, oh my God, this really can't be happening. Then I read the reviews of the first Descendants movie, and I said, okay, this is something special. This is the greatest franchise in the history of Disney Channel, and I was really hoping that Disney was going to make the most of this opportunity. I was hoping they were never going to close the book on writing another chapter for it, because it was just an incredible thing to be a part of. It was an incredible thing to experience. The rise of popularity of Descendants is something that I will never ever forget, and I will never live long enough to express my appreciation for everybody showing up on this YouTube channel and hitting the subscribe button for however many times you have. If 2,800 subscribers is all this YouTube channel ever amounts to, I know I'll get more than that because we're a year away from Descendants 5 with Wonderland, but if 2,800 subscribers is all this YouTube channel ever amounts to, I'm cool with that, because my voice was heard and my videos were seen by more people than ever before. I was a professional wrestling podcaster for years, where I would review professional wrestling matches and professional wrestling events for the World Wrestling Federation, for eventually the WWE, World Championship Wrestling, AEW, TNA. I did it all. And for whatever niches I was talking about, even outside of professional wrestling, like video games and TV shows that I would review, whatever assignment I would be sent out on, I received support. I will tell you, I received support, but I never received this much support. And I never felt so loved and so honored to be in people's presence as I have the fans of Descendants and Zombies. And that's what really separates this show from every other show that's reviewed probably one Descendants movie or created one reaction video off the success of Descendants and Zombies, because they know how powerful of a franchise it is. I don't care who you are. I don't care how much Descendants and Zombies merchandise you have as your backdrop for your YouTube video. There is no guy on YouTube that is as big of a fan of Descendants and Zombies as what I am. From the very first moment I heard the opening note of the song Rotten to the Core, I knew this franchise was going to be something special to everybody. And I just wanted to be a part of it. I wanted to commentate on Descendants and Zombies, and when I fell into this niche and I realized how incredibly supportive you guys were, I never wanted to leave. I never wanted to quit on it, because this franchise has represented so much kindness. It's represented hope. It's represented a second chance for everybody, no matter who you are, from what walk of life, no matter what your circumstances are. And I've just wanted to encourage you that you will find your light. I know that sounds a lot like Cloud from Final Fantasy VII, but I'm saying this because he was my favorite Final Fantasy character, and I was a big fan of video games, but I think everybody has a light that they eventually find. They may feel as if they've lost it because they can't make sense of their own light because you're young, but you will get to a point where you will find your own light, and you will find your way out of darkness. And I think that's really what the Descendants franchise has tried to encourage us to believe and to really hold on to, the believement of how there's a light that exists out there in this world for everybody, no matter how long it takes you to find it. But you do eventually find it, because everything adds up in your life, and everything happens for a reason. And if you ask me, I think we were supposed to meet. I really do think we were supposed to meet, because this really was a calling for me to talk about Descendants of Zombies. This really was a calling for me, and I really feel as if it was the greatest honor of my life to be in your guys' presence, providing you with commentaries and analogies on Descendants of Zombies up to 4 times a day. This is the 4th commentary I've uploaded today. Tomorrow I will be back again between 8:35 and 9:05 a.m. But I do it because I love talking about Descendants of Zombies. I love songs like Legends in the Making that made me think about how I wanted nothing more than to go down in history for being one of the greatest of all time. And while I doubted that probably 15 years ago, because of your guys' support, I know I will go down in history for being one of the greatest of all time. I don't know how I'm going down as one of the greatest of all time, but I know I eventually will. Because everybody who hits the like button, everybody who takes a chance on me and hits the subscribe button because of my crazy theories about mermaids seeing their introduction into the Zombies franchise, believes in it just as much as what I do. And this is a guy who's read every tale about a mermaid in his lifetime and felt so honored to be in your guys' presence talking about mermaids and talking about pirates, because I think they could really offer a lot of unpredictable moments that we will never forget in the Zombies franchise. And I have this to say to each and every one of you who believe that mermaids will see their introduction into the Zombies franchise after the introduction of the Vortex in the final 30 seconds of Zombies 4 Dawn of the Vampires. If you want to believe that mermaids are going to be a part of Zombies 5, then have fun with it. You know, offer your predictions about Descendants of Zombies on discussion forums. There's nothing wrong with believing that we will get to a point where we will see mermaids in the Zombies franchise. I would go for it. I would be incredibly excited to be a part of it, because I think that mermaids are beautiful creatures. They are often sometimes innocent, but they are also oftentimes very evil. So it can go either way. We can have evil mermaids that could be villains and pose the greatest threat to Seabrook, or we could have mermaids that exemplify kindness, which is something I would really go for either way. Come to think of it, I would love to go on a boating excursion and find and fall in love with a mermaid, because I remember reading mermaid tales ever since I was probably 6.5 years old. I remember reading the Little Mermaid book, thinking it was gorgeous. I remember watching all these movies about mermaids. I love talking about this stuff. I love talking about the supernatural. I love talking about the chances of it actually existing and happening for you. I love stories about how people believe and are convinced they've been beamed up into an alien spacecraft and been abducted, and they show up from out of nowhere and they can't remember where they were. I love reading this kind of stuff. I've been following this story actually about how there's an alien probe reportedly on the way to Earth in less than 100 days to kill us all. And if in fact there is an alien probe on the way to Earth to kill us all that could be watching this video on YouTube, Alien Mothership, bring your worst, because I'm ready to die. I say this because there is no other supportive and more loyal and lovable niche that I would love to die with than the fans of Descendants of Zombies, because their love is unconditional. They know what they want, they know what they love, and they know why they love the franchises, because they felt as if they were a part of something that they wanted to last for forever. I mean, you can't honestly tell me, for instance, the Worlds Collide Tour, it was a moment in history that you were a part of, because it really was history that we were all a part of. Descendants of Zombies created so much special history and so many memorable, unforgettable moments. You can't honestly tell me that you weren't a part of something this past summer that you didn't want to last for forever. And if you did want it to last for forever, even though it didn't, I see nothing wrong with that. And I'm not here to criticize your favorite Descendants of Zombie stars. I'm here to put them over in ways that they've never been put over before because I have a whole lot of fun doing it. I love giving people like Kylie Control a chance. I love giving them praise, even though some people believe they don't deserve it. I really do believe that Kylie Control is just trying to figure out her place in the world. I mean, she's 20 years old. Who knows everything at 20 years old? Who knows everything at 20 years old when you talk about Kylie and Ruby? All they know is that they're best friends and they're going to be best friends for forever. I mean, at 20 years old, you don't know what direction your life is headed in. You don't know what's going to happen to you from one moment to the next, and that's what makes life so fun. Because if we knew what was going to happen to us, I mean, would we really be excited about the future? That's what's so exciting about life. You know, the opportunities that we're presented with, and I think everybody has taken full advantage of being a fan of Descendants and Zombies, which I give you guys a profound amount of respect for. Because I never saw this much fan support for High School Musical in Hannah Montana. I did see fan support for it, but never quite like this. And that's why I say it's been so much fun for me to be able to talk about Descendants and Zombies in a way that I believe that it's been meant to be talked about for a very long time, and why I will talk about it for the rest of my life. Even if that means I have to upload a video every hour on this YouTube channel, I will do it for you guys because I know how much Descendants and Zombies has touched your hearts. I know how much it means to you. And because I love talking about it. From the very first moment I heard the song Rotten to the Core, it was a song I couldn't get out of my head. And then every song after that made this one of the best soundtracks and one of the most revered in Disney Channel's history because nobody ever listened to as much music as they did for the Descendants and Zombies soundtracks. And I don't think there will ever be a soundtrack for either franchise Disney promotes in the future, in the forthcoming years, that will be as powerful or sell as many copies or be downloaded as many times or streamed as many times as what Descendants music has been. Because everybody fell in love with this for one particular reason. Either you fell in love with it because of the script, you fell in love with it because of the music, because of the stars, because of their message and what they represented and what they believed in. I, for one, have loved watching these interviews of Kylie Control, Ruby Rose Turner, because it really gives us some insight onto what their lives are like, what they love, what they don't like, what they want to get the most of their experience for being an actress, a part of a franchise as powerful as what Descendants and Zombies has been. I've been called a Descendants analyst. I've been called a Descendants analyst because I love the franchise so much. I mean, who else on YouTube provides you with as authentic of a commentary as what I do about Descendants and Zombies? I do it because I really do love talking about Descendants and Zombies for you guys in a way that it's never been talked about before. I mean, who else goes out of their way to provide you with a 25-minute commentary to a time each time he uploads a video about Descendants and Zombies and can do it over and over again on constant repeat? I can do it on constant repeat because I know how much you guys appreciate the franchise. I know what it's like to sit in front of your TV or your tablet and be so excited at the premiere of a movie and look up all the interesting facts that you can leading up to the premiere. I remember how excited everybody was about the premiere of The Rise of Red on July 12th, 2024. Everybody wanted to be a part of it. Everybody was so excited, regardless of all the criticism it was receiving, all the hype behind it. Everybody was just excited because you were a Descendants fan, and that was the only reason that you were excited about it, because you knew that you were the biggest fan of Descendants in the world. Everybody calls themselves the biggest fan of Descendants and Zombies. Everybody who's ever uploaded a video to YouTube every night refers to themselves as the biggest Descendants and Zombies fan that's ever existed. I myself have done it. I think everybody gets to a point where they think they're the biggest Descendants and Zombies fan in the world, and I'm here to tell you guys that there's nothing wrong with it. I've had the most fun in my entire life providing you with commentaries on Descendants and Zombies, and I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. This YouTube channel will forever and always be here for each and every one who ever believed they were a fan of Descendants and Zombies, who wanted to love it for forever, who wanted to be a part of it for forever, who wanted it to last for forever. And while other critics will try to shut the door on production of Descendants and Zombies, saying we've seen enough Descendants and Zombies movies produced, they need to stop making movies, I'm here to tell you guys that if anything, I want these franchises to last for forever and the legacies of your favorite stars to last for an eternity. Because long after our lives are over, what we leave behind is a legacy. And one of my greatest fears, I may be saying this because one of my greatest fears was always to be forgotten about and to fade off into obscurity. I've always wanted to go down in history for being one of the greatest of all time. And while I'm still in doubt that I will go down in history for being one of the greatest of all time because of your guys' love and support for this channel, I like to believe that I will, some way or somehow, I don't know how it's going to happen, but I like to believe that I will go down in history for being one of the greatest of all time, one of the most revered commentators of all time. Because while I may not upload as many reaction videos as everybody else, I do love to commentate on Descendants and Zombies. While I may not have the dolls or the Descendants merch, the hoodies, the t-shirts, which are absolutely fabulous, I really am the biggest Descendants and Zombies fan in the world, like all of you. I know what it's like to be all of you, and I know what it's like to really embrace something so special and so spectacular. I really do feel honored to be a part of something such as this, and I just want it to last for forever because I don't know what Disney will ever create that will have such a profound impact on all of our hearts and have changed all of our lives for the foreseeable future. I hope that 20 years from now I'm still talking about Descendants and Zombies. Actually, come to think of it, I know 20 years from now I'll still be talking about Descendants and Zombies because I just want to show it the respect and honor the franchises the way they were meant to be honored rather than, criticize it. I want to shy away from that. I want to shut down the criticism about Descendants and Zombies because you guys deserve to hear great commentaries about your favorite stars, your favorite moments, why you were so inspired to be a fan of Descendants and Zombies, and I'm just so honored to be here to provide you with those commentaries, which I hope you're going to hit the subscribe and the like buttons because of. Guys, never quit on your hopes and dreams because your hopes and dreams can become a reality for you. They will happen for you regardless of how and when they do happen for you. I've always wanted to offer you encouragement and incentive that it can happen for you. Never quit on your hopes and dreams. Always believe and keep on supporting in Descendants and Zombies because this has been the most fun that I've had in my entire life. We will talk again tomorrow morning between 8:35 and 9:05 a.m. As early as that, I start producing Descendants and Zombies videos for you guys because I think it's about time somebody showed the respect to the Descendants and Zombies franchises and the universe and the galaxy, as I refer to it as, that it's been deserving of for a very long time. Thank you guys so much. I love you with all of my heart. We will talk again tomorrow morning between 8:35 and 9:05 a.m. as always on this YouTube channel, the most popular Descendants and Zombies YouTube channel in the entire world. I love you guys so much. We will talk again tomorrow morning. Be kind to one another because kindness really does go a long way in this world. Bye YouTube. We will talk again tomorrow morning.